Welcome to TRS Clips, where you'll find happiness through your own curiosity.
I remember I did a 40-day Anusthana of Bhagavati Ma Durga.
What is that?
Anusthana is basically a more concentrated form of Upasana. You take a Sankalpa. Okay, Sankalpa means a promise. Okay, traditionally it's a promise to Ma Durga. Okay, 40 days, I am going to do your worship in this manner.
Considering that you're also a working professional.
Yeah, I used to go to, my office was in Hiranandani, and I used to go by train and then come back by train. And with that, I used to do. So I had a 40-day Sankalpa in my mind. And Sankalpa means it's a promise, basically. You promise to the deity, to Devata, to Ma Durga. And you don't make a promise like human beings. See, deities are very different. If you make a promise, you better go through with it. Okay.
And if you don't?
Oh, then the trouble will fall on you.
Like what?
Various kinds. I mean, depends on where exactly you are in the sadhana. If you're at the initial stages, still little bit less amount of, troubles you will pass off. But if you're at a higher stage and you make a promise, either you don't make a promise, or if you make a promise, you go through with it. They are sticklers of truth.
The deities.
Like 100%, not human beings. Human beings with my friends, okay, let's meet up somewhere, etc. Then right after that, I call him and couldn't come, I was busy or things like that. It's perfectly fine. The deities, it doesn't work that way at the higher level. Whatever you say, whatever is your intent, it's to be very clear. And if you have certain doubts, then and never ever try to be smarter than that you are. Okay, in front of a devata. It doesn't work because the deity sees not just you, it sees where are you coming from? What were you in your past life? How many lifetimes have you crossed? What have you done? And the current momentum, where exactly are you heading? They see everything. Okay.
Because it's got the power of God.
It is Ishvara.
It is God.
Deity is God. Deity is the divine. There's no doubt about it. There's absolutely no. So then 40-day I did that Anushtanam. And Anushtanam with the promise that I need certain guidance from her, from the deity.
You needed guidance for life?
No, for my sadhana. I need my next path to open up. Okay.
Which is your actual ambition?
My main focus had been my upasana from the time I had started. Got into, I had a lateral entry, but we don't want to deviate to that story, but let's stick to this.
What does the word upasana mean again?
Upasana is the method of worship. Upasana is just any worship of a devata is upasana. I'm choosing these terms because it conveys the right sense.
Understood.
Though we are speaking in English, but I believe that at one point, if these terms become common currency, it's easier to speak on these topics.
Okay.
Because in translation, something gets lost sometimes.
Yeah. Okay. Go on, sir.
So I did that, and I took a promise, and the promise has to be done formally, which means that you take water and you drop it and you say that you are so and so. Okay. And this is your name, this is your gotra, this is where you are staying. You want to worship XYZ Devata through this method for so many days for whatever results you want. Okay. Like that. And then you drop the water. Basically, it's keeping witness. Sakshi. Whom are you keeping witness? Jal Tattva, water. On the ground, that is the earth, everything. They are witness to your promise. Okay. So you go back in your promise. These two tattvas are going to react to you. And not just that, the deity himself or herself will react with you. Okay. So they are like, and the other thing that happens is, they test you once you make a promise. So if you don't do a Anushtan like that, you just normally worship, it's one thing. Once you do an Anushtanam, then what happens is the deity is also going to test you. Test you means, are you fit for it? But I remember when I did that 40-day thing, very third, fourth day, I felt tremendously ill. I mean, I had, I think, 100, 203 fever. But even then, it has to be completed. 3.5 hours I has to sit and complete.
In terms of when you make a spiritual promise, Maya or the material realm will keep pulling you away from achieving that.
Yes, various
promise.
entities will try and pull you away. Various things will try and pull you away. Even the deity will be aware that these are the obstacles that will come. But he or she will allow the obstacles to come to see that how strong is your willpower.
Yeah, it's like you're doing push-ups and the deity will put its foot on your back.
Exactly. It's a test of your commitment. Are you just being frivolous? Are you just being then anyway you'll not progress. After that 40-day I completed, and there were other small hassles, but thankfully I was able to do it.
What were the small hassles?
One was this. I had very high fever, I remember, and after having that fever, Even in that fever, I had to complete at the correct time. I had to sit at this time after coming back from office. Then one day, I remember I suddenly started getting a call from somebody pretty high up in my office, whom I had never had any reason to interact with for till that point of time. And I wasn't sure why is he even calling me at this time after hours. When some sort of issue had happened in office, very peculiarly, I had to resolve it of all people. And it made no sense because all these years I've been working in that company, never had this issue come up. Neither has this individual ever needed to have a direct communication with me because he's pretty high up in the chain, etc. And things like that. And I am in the middle of the puja. The conflict that is going on in the mind is, if I pick up that call, I have to start again. There are rules. 3.5 hours. Again, I have to start. And I'm already tired after office and coming back. Okay. So at that time, it was like I had to take a quick decision. So whenever I've had a conflict between work or any other aspect and my upasana, my focus had been on upasana. Then we'll see tomorrow. Whatever happens, we'll see. Okay. I'll go through with this. Thankfully, things got resolved. But this is a very typical example of how the deities will test you when you're doing upasana. But after I completed, there are a few dreams I had to go to certain temples and do certain homas, fire rituals.
Did you feel fear in those dreams?
No.
It was positive.
Positive. I knew that these are indications from the deity that next paths will go through here. So I went to one of the Tara temples in Vindhyachal. Okay. Vindhyachal is in Uttar Pradesh. There's a very beautiful Vindhyavasini Devi temple, and in the outskirts of that town there is a small Tara temple. Those who know about it, they know. The other, it's not widely popularly known, but somebody had suggested. Me and two of my friends had gone there, and I remember once I entered into the Tara temple, there was one sadhu sitting there, and there was a dhuni. Dhuni is a continuously burning fire. Small amount of fire will go on, so you can do fire rituals on that dhuni. Okay. And the sadhu was there, and he told me suddenly that you should do a homa there. And that fire was very different, by the way.
What did he say?
Homa. Homa is a fire ritual. Basically, when you do a Ganpati homa or something like that, basically you light a fire, you consecrate a fire, and you worship the deity in the fire. Okay. So when you're worshipping a vigraha, a murti, you're worshipping the deity in Prithvi Tattva. It's made of mud or wood or something like that. When you're worshipping in a fire, you're worshipping the deity through Agni Tattva. So like that, all the 5 tattvas can be employed in the worship of a devata.
Understood.
So fire rituals are fundamental to dharma. It has to be there everywhere. So that fire had a specific, that's different from the other normal fire, because that specific fire was taken from a cremation ground. Okay. So there is one fire which is the average we use for all, whether for puja purposes or whether cooking, etc. And then the fire that comes from the cremation, which has touched a body, a dead body, etc. So that has a different property altogether, and it's normally not to be trifled with casually at all, because it has a tremendously different kind of property and different kind of effect, etc.
Just one note for international listeners. In Hinduism, Agnidev is considered the distributor of energies.
Yes.
In terms, Agnidev is the god of fire.
God of fire.
So way of saying fire is a portal to like higher realms.
Yes.
And higher energies.
Yes. And also in the Vedic conception, fire is the priest of the deities. He is the Purohita. You have a Panditji when you need to do a puja, you call somebody. So fire acts as the priest. He's the one who will connect you to the realm of the gods. So that's why fire is very important. He's a deity in himself, and he also connects you to the devatas. Whomever you want to worship, fire will connect you if you do it in the right way. If you know the right methodology of doing, and this is known as a homa or a havan, what we call in North havan or homa, and extended version in the Vedas called the yagyas and all that things, etc. So what I did there was a homa to the deity, to the Ma Durga, basically. But the fire was different. The fire was a cremation ground fire. That fire is normally not to be used until you know what you're doing, because it, as I was mentioning, the moment you enter the cremation ground or the deities, then the rules also will change, because they have their own ways of things, etc. But anyway, by the blessings of the mother, it went wonderfully well. Fantastic it went. The nimittas were perfect. Nimitta means the signs that you will get. There's a whole science of these signs that come in, and it's difficult to explain, but as you go deeper, you realize this. Gurus will tell you and things like that. And after a few days of that homa, I received a mantra in my dream, the deity. Okay.
Like a beach mantra?
No, full
Like a full mantra?
mantra.
How did you remember it?
That's because the dream came twice. So that one day, it was very vivid kind of dream. I woke up and I saw that, and not just the mantra, it was like there were some actions that were being performed, some things were going on, etc. in the dream.
Are you comfortable sharing
uh,
details?
Okay. So there was one form of the mother, one of the Mahavidyas, very, very intensely powerful Mahavidyas. I saw her taking me to a pond, and there were two ponds actually. And she asked me in the dream that which one do you like? The color of the water was different. One was crystal clear and the other was bluish. And I pointed to one of them. I'll not say which one because those who know these things, they will understand what I'm saying. Those who do not know these things, they will have one understanding of what I'm saying. So after that, she kind of dips me in that water in the dream. And then there's a mantra that is told, and then it's told that you start doing that. But after the dream happened, it was very vivid. I woke up and I refused to do it because I know that that specific form of Mahavidya is intense. Okay. And Mahavidya Upasana should not be done just like that without a proper guidance from somebody or things like that, etc. So I resisted. I said no. And then my tendency in these things is not to act as the believer, to be a skeptic. If a dream comes, okay, let's hold on, wait, let's see. If there's something meant to be done, is there some action meant to be performed, nature is going to show you more signs. One dream could be your own mind playing tricks with you. All the time it happens. We want to believe that we are very good. So tomorrow I'm dreaming of all the hundreds of deities that are coming. I mean, nothing. So in order to be on the, on the side of caution, and also because I thought that I was pretty not sure that is this the form I should worship. Not the form. I knew the intensity of the form is very strong. So I did not do anything. But the dream repeated itself again after a few days and with more vigor, so that I remembered exactly what was going on, etc., etc. And then the inspiration came very strongly, and I started doing that upasana of the form. Okay?
With the mantra.
With the mantra. And after doing a few months of that mantra sadhana means basically you're doing japa of the mantra, repetition of the mantra in a proper manner. Proper means not just roaming around and doing. You sit like in meditation. You sit. You have a japa mala and you keep doing.
You
counting.
chant.
Yeah, with the beads, with the rudraksha beads or whatever beads you have. You count how many times. Okay, you are counting it and doing the japa. So like that, as I kept doing. That is when I had one day, I remember pretty late in the night, I was meditating and I saw a figure standing in front of me. Okay. I could sense that it was not an ordinary person. There was a tremendous amount of tejas. Tejas means that brilliance.
Glow.
Glow is still a softer term. I'm saying brilliance. There's one light that is it's a glow that's nice, soothing on the eyes, and there's one that shines like the sun, something like that. Okay, like that. And there was some instructions told to me that read certain books of Sri Aurobindo. Sri Aurobindo is one of the greatest spiritual mystics who lived and there in Pondicherry. Okay?
Yes.
I picked up. I had earlier, before this, 1-2 years ago, I tried reading Sri Aurobindo. It did not make sense to me because I found his language too complicated for my understanding. It's like 1 meter above the head it flows at that time.
And this time you read it, it slipped into your head.
Everything. Just this is, and not just that. I opened that specific book, that page, and there were certain things he was talking about. This is precisely the confusions I was having at that time in my mind.
That's how the right spiritual books work.
Yes.
For a lot of listeners.
Exactly.
The knowledge will enter your head when you need it.
Exactly. And then it's after some time, some more experiences happened, but that I'm not comfortable sharing. But eventually what I realized is that an experience of Krishna started happening actually after that, which was very strange. And I wondered, why is Krishna coming from anywhere at all? Because I am not even worshipping Krishna. I am something else I'm doing. And then I picked up a book of Sri Aurobindo's biography, and I realized that he had attained perfection in Krishna Upasana. Krishna was the primary deity. He was the one and the Bhagavad Gita and Lord Krishna, the ones whom he worshipped most intensely in his own way. So he did not do the normal Vaishnava Upasana of Krishna. What he did was more of meditative connection with Krishna, to the extent that he had sort of become like Lord Krishna, an emanation of Krishna, that time. He had that energy fully in him. And the question started that there are many forms of Krishna. So there is one form of Krishna that is Sri Aurobindo. Sri Aurobindo used to mention there's one form of Krishna who's popular in the Bhagavatam, which is one of the spiritual texts, who's the delight of the gopis. Okay, he's very sweet. He's beautiful. If you worship that, you feel like in bliss. If that energy of Krishna a little bit comes in. But there is also the Krishna who gives you the Bhagavad Gita, who's standing in the battlefield. Okay, and there is a confused Arjuna who's saying that no, I can't fight. And then there is a conversation that goes on. So that Krishna, he's the teacher. That aspect of Krishna is one who will make you pass through. You have seen how clothes are dried by wringing them. He will do exactly that throughout all impurities, so that afterwards you have nothing left but to become spiritual. And then he will give you the Gita, and then he will never forget.
Including people, including situations.
Everything.
will
That
be
is what
removed.
his style. That is what his style is.
Yep.
That is exactly what his style is. Okay, and saints who have worshipped Krishna properly, they all know this. Whether there is, as I said, there are two types of worship. One is that the general bhakti you can do. There's all doing, and then you have that intensity of longing. No, I want that devata in the manner like a friend, like a father, like a mother, or whatever form you want to personalize that equation, so that there is a two-way communication with the deity. That is the highest stage of sadhana. That is where you have to go. Okay, so Krishna is like that. He's beautiful. So if somebody tells me, I find it very interesting, just my personal opinion, that somebody says that Krishna is the sweetest. Of course, he's the sweetest. But if you go closer to him, he is going to make sure that everything that is non-spiritual in you, every element in your body, and means your environment, slowly will pick out everything one after the other. Take. And that is going to be painful also. What is he doing to Arjuna? Arjuna comes and says that, I can't fight. Okay, these are my friends and relatives only. How can I kill them, etc.? And if you see his conversational tone, he starts off in I think the second chapter, when he starts off, he starts off this way that it's like loosely paraphrased into English, that you speak like a pandita, you speak like a wise man, but actually these are not the words of wise men. These are actually words of like somebody who's a fool, somebody who doesn't know. And then he goes on slowly, one after the other, he starts explaining to him what is the spiritual reality of the world. He even tells that there is a chance of, in I think fourth or fifth chapter, he tells moksha. How do you attain moksha? You can stop this whole rebirth thing, okay? But he doesn't stop there. So after karma yoga, jnana yoga, one of the different yogas and all that, he goes on. And then finally he goes into Vibhuti yoga, that is the 10th chapter, where he says that what is his manifestations. And there, it's such a brilliant text. He says that among the Pandavas is Arjuna, among the Vrishnis is Krishna. So he's speaking of himself in third person. You can ask that who is it that is speaking? Is it Krishna or is it somebody else speaking through Krishna? Okay. And then the next chapter, he shows the Vishwarupa. Vishwarupa is the transcendental form. And every deity has this, by the way. And at that moment, the only thing that Arjuna can do is bow down in reverence. When you see that kind of form of a deity, all your mental conceptions are washed away. Only thing that will work is bhakti. You'll just fall down in reverence. Either you will get scared and run away. That also happens. There are people. Or you'll just fall down in reverence. Okay. And he tells him that I can't take this form. You come back into a four-armed form that we know so popularly, etc. And after that comes bhakti. Bhakti cannot be inculcated. Once you have that experience, then bhakti will automatically develop. So this is how Krishna is.
I have to. Okay, firstly, I'm a little overwhelmed, but I have to bring you back to that story. So you said Krishna came into your life.
Yes.
I'm assuming it's to remove maybe the microscopic non-spiritual elements that were remaining in your life, or to put you through some process to, like, I don't know, churn your emotions. What happened then?
That was a period of excellent spiritual development for myself. But at the same time, mind you, during that time, once I had couple of more experiences of Krishna at that time. Automatically it started once I was developed a strong reverence for Sri Aurobindo. Okay, because Sri Aurobindo is like it's the portal for me for Krishna. From him I went to Krishna. Otherwise I did not have any inclination for Krishna. So only after reading him and developing a strong understanding. So I used to like that one specific sentence Sri Aurobindo used to write about Krishna somewhere, written that if you know only Krishna, then you know nothing about Krishna. He's so vast that he can encompass everything. Okay. He's absolutely universal in one sense. And he's also very personal. He holds both of these aspects in him. But at the same time, while I was doing a certain amount of Krishna Upasana, I got some books on Krishna. Books means the Bhagavatam, the 10th chapter of the Bhagavatam, Srimad Bhagavatam, contains the life of Krishna. That is the most beautiful text. If somebody studies it, actually, people do Upasana of it. 7 days they will study. Confine yourself. I used to tell people, confine yourself to a room for 7 or 10 days. Don't meet anybody unnecessarily. Eat completely as sattvic food as you can. Okay, as light food, not just vegetarian. I'm saying that as light food. I mean, if your stomach goes full up to this mark, then eat 3/4 of it, not more than that. Okay, keep a little empty. Spend reading the Bhagavatam. Spend contemplating on the Bhagavatam. Imagining how Krishna from childhood, what is he doing? Every story, there is something or the other that is going on. Okay, if you go deeper into the explanations, and it's beautiful. 7-10 days you do that properly, and don't meet people. Don't no unnecessary phone calls. Cut off your internet and all that things. That is the biggest Rahu roaming around in the world. Okay, that's breaking of concentration is the easiest thing to do from the internet. But keep all that aside. Just do that. You'll have a blissful experience. That text has a power. It has a Shakti in it. So reading the Bhagavatam was very good. And meanwhile, at the same time, my primary Upasana was still going on. Okay, it doesn't stop.
For the Mata.
My main Devata Upasanas will always happen, wherever I may be. Even say today also, whenever I'm going somewhere, I have to first plan it this way that, okay, if I reach here, this amount of time I'll have to need to complete my, it's like a seva to the gods, service to the gods. Okay, I don't look at it as something like, oh, I have to again complete. It's not like a task that is to be completed. It is something you do willfully out of joy. Then only you will enjoy it. Then only you can sustain till the end. Otherwise, the moment you feel that, oh, just a task I have to complete, 100% after some days it will fall off, and then you will also fall off from the path. That's how it goes. Only those who can enjoy doing it, you look at it as a seva to the gods, okay, and they will also interact with you eventually. So anyway, that sadhana was going on. The Krishna phase went on for a few months, and I read a lot of Sri Aurobindo. It helped me clarify many concepts about spirituality. And even though my path is primarily Tantropasana, I like Tantropasana, that's what I do. But I found no conflict in the ways Sri Aurobindo explained various things and how those applies to the traditional tantric path. Okay, he's a brilliant thinker. I mean, one of the best, in my opinion, that I've read. And I remain eternally devoted to him for the excellent writing he has done. But yes, his writing is a little complicated, so it takes time to get in. Once you understand the rhythm, and then you'll.
Why have you highlighted this whole experience though? Like, what was special about this whole phase?
Because that time, first of all, this came to mind because we were talking about Krishna. So that's why this episode came to mind, that I had an experience.
No, but for you.
So that was important in the sense that two things were going on. One was the Krishna Upasana, Krishna and Sri Aurobindo Upasana. In fact, once I remember, I was coming in a local train, coming to office, and I just finished reading the Bhagavatam in the morning, and suddenly, you know how Mumbai locals are, like full marpit going on, etc. So I get down from the train, and there's this, I don't know what, two groups were fighting among themselves or something. My mind was in a different state at that time. So I was going to office, but I was not fully aware that what is happening, okay, around me, etc. And I just somehow stepped into that fighting zone. And both the sides didn't know who I was with. So both of them started beating me. Okay. So, the funny part is, and just like that, okay, it was everybody was beating everybody. And then that's the few blows came in, and then my mind was back into the normal. Oh, where am I? Okay, what exactly it is? And this happened outside of the Vikhroli station, I remember, because I used to get down there from my office sometimes. And right after that, suddenly they realized that who's this guy? Okay, where did they? So they left me, and they kept doing whatever they were doing. Right after that, this guy comes, another guy, some random guy comes in. He opens a packet of sweets and says, "Sir, this is prasad from Krishna, Lord Krishna." Okay, and he puts one into my mouth. Okay, just like that. This was I mean, if you look at it rationally, it makes no sense. But for me, because I had I was in that kind of a state. So you have to immerse yourself into the Devata you're worshipping. And that time, my mind was completely into Krishna, completely into, okay, what he's, the stories of the Bhagavatam, every description, various other things, the Mantrupasana and whatever else was going on, etc. So that when he said that's from Krishna, that was like a shock. It's like a tongue. And then I felt very funny because this is precisely how he works actually when he decides to take somebody to the highest realms. So he will kind of cut out all the weed around you and things like that. What he thinks, he's not going to give you what you want, by the way. Well, that is impossible that you sort of give up. That if he gives you that, then you are perhaps at the very lower stage of the upasana. After that, because human beings have this tendency that we love to hang on to our flaws. Otherwise, we would have self-progressed without the need of any devata. We love to hang on to our flaws. So that is when he does the Kurukshetra on you. And after doing the Kurukshetra, then the Gita will come to you. And then you will be in a must state. Cleansing. That is what Krishna does.
Hey, if you enjoyed today's clip, make sure you check out all the other clips we've uploaded on this channel. You'll find a clip related to almost every single topic as long as you're willing to search for it.